Jenny Funkmeyer here, Parallel University. Today I'm going to talk about this awesome book. Robert Monroe's first book that was published in 1971 called Journeys Out of the Body. And it is the definitive text if you want to experience out-of-body journeys, meaning going out of this body into your light body and to experience the other realms that is possible, that is happening right now, except you don't know it. This is where you should begin with the first book of Robert Monroe's work. Very, very interesting book. You could get it from the library. This is where I got it. I think I'm going to buy it because I like to mark up. I am still live. And in case the thing, so it's a book review on Robert Monroe's book, Journey Out of the Body. This is his first book. And then he also wrote, 10 years later, published another book, Far Journey, and then another 10 years later, Ultimate Journey. The man has dedicated his life in this research, this phenomenon called out-of-body experience, and it's a very, very good source. When I read this book, I feel how sincere he is in explaining his own experience in a very down-to-earth way. I really like it. There is no fanfare. This is exactly what he experienced, and he wrote it down. I love that. There's no adjectives. There's no flowery description. There is also very good. There is no spiritual talk. This is ultimate spiritual book without any mention of God or religion. It's just, this is what it is. And I really like that. And ultimately, I have come to a very spiritual way of looking at life from trying out-of-body experience myself and reading his book. But there was no, it's not a religious text. It's not a spiritual text per se. And it's a scientific text into the spirituality, which is my favorite kind of book, really. I really love science mixing with spirituality, and this is a book like that. Robert Monroe is the granddaddy of out-of-body experience, and he started in the 50s. I'm not sure exactly when, but I think somewhere in the 50s. He's now in the next dimension. He died. He was a very regular, I would use the word regular, a mainstream businessman. He was the chairman of a multi-million-dollar corporation. And this really helps him to have like an everyday man's perspective of this incredible experience he's having at night. So, you know, if this happens to me, I will, because I am such a foo-foo kind of new age person, I may immediately color it with New Age philosophy. Robert Monroe did not do that. He was a businessman, and he looked at this as, in the beginning, as something that he's really afraid of. He has no control over it. It's happening to him, and he doesn't really know what to do with it, which is the best, I think, investigator, researcher, pioneer, pathfinder for someone to be like that, to just be, in a way, really humble, just looking at the experience as what it is. And this is how he wrote the book too. So it really comes through. He has a story here that at first, you know, after many years, he didn't tell anyone. He only told a couple of friends, and he kind of just every night he's having these out-of-body experience, and he did not know what to do with it. He told a few friends. He did not want other people to think he's a crazy man, and also he didn't want to lose his job as the president of the multi-million-dollar corporation. So he there's a story here that he was in a board meeting, and his chairman of the board, he was on the board, his chairman of the board's yard, the rich guy's yard, and after this book was published, he was hoping no one in his corporate world knowed about his crazy experiences, so he was not talking about it. But then the chairman of the board, the wife, came out and gave him this book and said, "Hey, Robert, I like your book. Please sign for me." And then the chairman of the board leans over and tells him, "Hey, I'm glad you wrote a book my wife likes, because she's very psychic, and I never make a business investment without asking my wife first. So if he likes your book, it must be a good book." So that's when he knew that maybe he has a good book, and he's not going to be fired from his job as a president. And in fact, his chairman of the board, it's okay with it. So that was this man. So let me start with, in the beginning, he's, in this book, he talks about how it happened, how he was relaxing and sleeping, and then just kind of involuntarily he started having these shakes, these vibration that comes through his body, and he doesn't know what it is. And then he felt his body lifts up. He was floated up to the ceiling and looking down, and he's like, "What is this?" And he sees a man sleeping. This is at night in bed, sleeping next to his wife. He said, "Who is this man sleeping next to his wife?" And it gave him the shock of his life when he looks into this man's face. It was himself, his own body, lying there peacefully sleeping. And that's when he realized, wow, this is something, I'm having an out-of-body experience. So almost, you know, the term was, I'm not sure if the term was invented right there, OBE, out-of-body experience, or, you know, it's got to start with him. Mind you, when it first happened, Robert Monroe went all over, you know, researching into Western scientific research books and Eastern scientific books, and he said he can't really find anything about this out-of-body experience. At that time, in the 50s, there was very, very little research into out-of-body experience. In the West, it really started with Robert Monroe. In the East, there's actually a lot of texts, but I guess Robert, now we know, the Tibetan dream yoga is a sort of lucid dreaming is a out-of-body experience. The yogis, the Hindu yogis, the gurus, the saints, the Christian saints, everybody has talked about this other realm that you would go to after you die, or this other realm that is happening but you don't know anything about it. So they talked about it from a different point of view. But Robert Monroe's point of view, the great thing about it is so like real. It's not, there's nothing to believe. You read this, you know what happened to him, and then in this book, chapters 16 and 17, the preliminary exercises and the separation process, he write out exactly how he does it, gives you very precise instructions, and also tells you his own experience. So it's like you can really use these experience to generate your own experience. I am a lucid dreamer, so I am able to read this book. I am not an out-of-body traveler right now. I'm interested and I'm working on it, and I don't know when I will have my first out-of-body experience. I am right now, this is book learned knowledge for me, but I am a lucid dreamer, and I have had mystical experience that I cannot explain, except I have experienced some of the things that Robert Monroe has talked about, and I've come from a different angle, and I know what he's talking about is real. So I'm looking forward to my first experience, but I'm just so incredibly grateful for this book because it gives me a very, very clear, another trustworthy point of view on this next dimension, or this energetic dimension, or the parallel universe that is surrounding us. It also gives me a lot of information about what actually happens after we die, because the first thing that happens when you have an out-of-body experience is you are able to see there is no time and there's no space, and you're able to see anyone in history. If you want to see, you know, your dead loved one, you can, and you can go see them, and you will have an experience seeing them. This gives me a definitive understanding that life does not end with my body ending. Life is going to continue and move on in a way, and in fact, in a very specific way. That's really good to know. Although, you know, I have not died yet, nor have you. So this is, no matter how hard you try, it's going to be hearsay, it's going to be book learned. But it's great. It's great to actually have a perspective, like kind of know, like some people have gone there and I'm able to come back and tell you what happened. And more of this information gathered, more, instead of a belief that there is life after death, it is a knowing. And it's knowing is so much better than belief. If someone say to me, oh, look, go over there, you're going to, you know, take the bus and then take the airplane and then you're going to get to Paris, I'm going to go like, oh, okay, thanks. I believe Paris is over there. But if I have been to Paris, and many people tell me that's where Paris is, I begin to get a knowing about where Paris is, and that's way superior than a belief system. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to believe Paris is over there. I know Paris is over there, especially if I do that myself and get over to Paris and see for myself. That is really good. So the book learned knowledge is beginning, and then following the examples, I'm going to do it myself. I did this with everything I learned. I learned lucid dreaming this way. I learned all kinds of other things this way, and have my own experience. So I really speak from a knowing. There are many incredible stories, amazing stories in this book. The first one is about sex, about how the sex drive holds you close to your body and you can't travel. And once you get over the sex drive through many out-of-body experience, and then the sex drive no longer holds you so tight, you're able to go away further and further from your body. Then he talks about how he had sex in the next dimension. Now, the dimension when you are not using your physical body, when you are using your light body, is a dimension in which there is no time, there is no space. So you can see anyone in any place, in any time in history, throughout history, you can see anyone. You do not have a physical body. Your body is an energy. So you at first, you kind of cling on to your body in the human shape. And then after a while, after many journeys, you're beginning to realize you don't need to look like this. You can look like anything you want. Then he had some fun experimenting with different shapes he can take as a cat, as an animal, and then he finds out that he just ends up being a energetic blob, sort of in an egg-shaped teardrop shape with lights shooting out. And that is confirmed by many channel beings, and many gurus and saints talks about us being a light body, a teardrop shape of light. So again, it's confirmed here. Thoughts become reality immediately. I know I'm talking about sex, I'm going to go back to it. Thoughts become reality, so you what you think becomes immediately. So the first barrier is your fear. Your fear is going to stop you exploring and doing things in this reality, and the fear is very real. He talks about the fear that you would encounter. The first fear is going to be your fear of death, because normally when you get out of your body, you die. It signifies that you die. So your body has a fear. Your mind may be like, great, I'm out of body, but your body is like, oh my God, I'm dead. And this fear will turn into, he calls it unreasonable terror. It's actually terror. You are in terror, the grips of terror. So I'm very excited to experience my fear of death myself. So he also talks about the second type of fear is the fear of unknown. We know that, we rationalize our fear of unknown, but we basically, we're scared of doing things new. We are a creature of habit, not because we like our habit, but because more likely it's because we are afraid of the unknown. So to me, I didn't even know I have a fear of the unknown, but the out-of-body experience is going to really expose that to me. What my actual fear of unknown is going to look like. It's going to show up in my out-of-body experience. And last but not least is the fear of not being able to return to your body. That fear is very real. You know how you leave home and you're really like afraid that you're never going to come back. And this is a fear that is way back in our psyche, and we normally don't touch it. But in out-of-body experience, you leave your body, you're afraid you're going to be dying, and then you're afraid of the unknown, and then what happens? Of course, you're going to say, I can't come back and I'm going to die, and you're shaking with fear. So Robert Monroe said, in all his experience, he always comes back. So just gradually that fear goes away, because hey, every time he came back, so there's no need to be afraid. Again, this has something to do with knowing, isn't it? You believe you're going to come back, but if you actually come back each time, there is a knowing. So that fear will be quenched by the knowing. Of course, the last time we leave our body is the time that we will go into this realm without coming back, and that is scary. But I guess that's why out-of-body experience is really good, because during this life you can kind of experience what you are going to encounter after you die. And So it's a very valuable experience to have. Also, the fear of not coming back, Robert Monroe gave some very good tips on coming back. It's in this book. For example, you can wiggle your toes of your physical body, and that pulls your light body back into the body. You can move your own physical body, and it pulls you back. In my own lucid dreaming experience, meaning I'm awake in my dream and I know I'm dreaming, that is definitely true. If I don't pay attention to really invest my psyche in the dream, I'm back. There was a connection problem, so I'm back. I hope this continues. So I was saying, I realized in my lucid dreaming experience that I can confirm that there is two bodies, my dream body, which is my light body, and my physical body. So in my physical body, if I'm in a dream, I'm lucid, and I have my, and I think about my physical body, I will be right back. So, so this confirms that you don't have to be scared of not being able to come back. Okay, I was talking about sex, and I would go to it now since, so the sex, how do you have sex in a realm in which you're a light body? Oh, okay, I have to talk about telepathic communication, because in a realm in which you have a light body and you have no time and space, words, you don't need words, there's no words necessary. Everyone is telepathic. Everyone knows who you are, what you're thinking, because you are completely naked. You are just there as a light being, your energy. So what you have, what you're thinking, your biggest desires, your constant thoughts, your fears, your dreams, your hopes, everything comes true immediately. So translate that to sex. It's like you're in an out-of-body experience. You come to, Robert Monroe said he would show up in a room, and then there would be a woman that he's very attracted to. His sex drive would come up. You know, normally in this reality, we call it a hard-on. You kind of quickly like put a book in front of your pants and kind of, you know, look around and act like you're not attracted to the woman and or man, and that works. But it doesn't work in the next dimension, because the other party will know exactly that you are attracted to them and you want to have sex with him or her. So what happens? So Robert Monroe gives a very beautiful and detailed description of what sex is like in this outer body dimension. Because we are, so I'm going to tell you. So because we become energy, so the other party is also energy, and then if you are attracted to this other party, as energetically, you're going to like move into this person. And if this person is also attracted to you, so like attract like, you're going to go boom like that really fast, right? So really fast. So if the other person also likes you, you're going to have sex immediately. If the other person does not want to have sex, they're going to go no, and your attraction will stop. So it sounds to me that in the next dimension, there will be no raping. It's not possible to rape someone, because if you don't want it and all you have to do is say no, and then the attraction immediately stops with this other party. But if you are also attracted, and that happens to us all the time, you know someone is attracted to you, you're also attracted, and the degree of your attraction will become comparable to each other. So you would come together slowly like this, or boom, right? So what happens when you have sex? Boom, you come together, and he said so beautifully that it is so much more than just one body part in our body having sex. It's your entire being having sex. Each molecule is going to exchange energy. You're going to like totally become the other person and enjoying everything about the other person enjoying you, and it's this incredible merging and amazing. I mean, this sounds like the best kind of sex, right? It's sex as its best. And and then push, and then you're done. Boom. As soon as you're together, you're done. So sex is very fast. It's huge orgasm, and then you're done. Now that sounds pretty good, right? So that's something to look forward to after you die, isn't it? Oh my God, I'm looking for that, looking forward to that. He talks about, in chapter 8, he talks about praying to God. Sometimes new in helpful, and I personally experienced that several times in spiritual journey. I when one time I would always be clued to the dream, because I would immediately know I'm dreaming, because I see both the front and the back of things. Like, everything looks completely different from this reality, and there's no other word to describe it except, oh, I'm not in Kansas anymore. I am somewhere else, and then I know I'm dreaming. So I know what Robert Monroe is saying. So it sounds like in my own meditation, in my own heightened aware state, and also one time in several times in my ayahuasca medicine journey, I have been there. It seems like this is what happens. This is what the other realm looks like. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, praying to God. So praying to God in this realm, ironically, don't work, because he gives us a story about how he was being pestered by these three kind of not very good characters. So mind you, not very good characters, kind of shady people, are still going to be around, just like here in this reality. You're going to meet really good people, and you're going to meet some shady people, and we don't know why. You know, in a way, I try to think that maybe there's some shadiness inside me that allowed this the bad people to show up, because there's a story about Buddha, how Buddha was sitting under the Bodhi tree and he's meditating, and some children comes to throw rocks at him, because children are just like that. It's not because they're bad, they're just like that. They see someone sitting under a tree, not moving, and it's 2,500 years ago. They do not have iPhone, television, football. You know, they're bored. They're children who are bored. So they see Buddha sitting under the tree. They started wanting him to get up and see, like, taunt him, push him, and they started throwing rocks at him. But Buddha is so loving and beautiful that when the rocks come into his sphere, it turns into roses, and it falls onto his feet like beautiful roses. So the stone does not come to him, and the children got so scared they ran away. So that's Buddha's story. So from this story, I kind of feel like, well, maybe, you know, when you meet shady characters in the next realm, it's because there's certain shadiness in you. So it also gives me a reason try to help myself take all the shadiness, the phoniness, the lying and the hate and the anger, all that out of me, because in the next realm, I'm going to face with all these things that I haven't dealt with, and I'm going to have to deal with them then. So I might as well deal with them now. You see, the next realm is not going to be any better than this one. It's going to be exactly, not exactly like this one, obviously, but your problem, you definitely going to be dealing with them. So deal with them right now in your own way. So anyway, the Robert Monroe was saying that, you know, these shady characters came to poke him and push him, and he's scared. Of course, he's just there as an out-of-body experienced person, and these other entities are there. Seems like they know more than him. So he started praying to his God, and they started saying, ha ha ha! They started laughing at him. Look at him, he's praying to his gods. That's what they say. And he find out that that doesn't work. So that's an extremely interesting story, isn't it? If praying to God don't work in the next realm, praying to God ain't gonna work in this realm, isn't it? The only reason, it tells me that the only reason that praying to God has certain validity in this reality is my belief in God, my belief in goodness, in the good and in the love and in the wondrous quality in my own humanity and in this reality. So basically it says to me that praying right now is good, but it's just a thing that makes me feel better. It's better if I do something about what I'm praying about. Don't leave it to God, because in the next realm, when you pray to God, what happens to Robert Monroe is these shady characters are just laughing at him. It had no effect. So the way he got out of that terrible situation with the characters pointing and taunting him while he was praying is he gave up praying. He's like, okay, get away from me. And they got away. They're gone. So this also tells me there's something called universal free will. If you don't want something, you clearly enunciate it, you clearly say, I don't want this, it's going to go away. Have trust and have belief in my own power, not praying to God just as a thing that I do, but not really about the black hole. Several times he went into a realm in which, you know, he got out of his body and then he went into a space and there is a black hole there. And he reached his hand in and it was so freaky. He reached his hand into the black hole and it's all just blackness. And another hand come immediately to grab his hand. And like in the black hole, someone grabbed his hand. And he said the hand is friendly. It doesn't feel not friendly. It seems to be very nice. And then in another instance, he goes back. There's no real control. Well, there's certain control. But we don't know that much. I haven't been there, so I can't tell you. That he gone to the black hole again, and he reached his head in, and someone like pulled him, trying to get him through the whole person into the black hole, and he got scared and he came back out. So he related 3 stories. Another story was he tried to listen in the black hole and see what he hears, and he hears someone says, "Bob, Bob, Bob," almost like someone trying to wake him up, like, you know, he's on one side, he hears in the black hole, "Bob, Bob," like someone trying to wake him up. So, and this is my own conjecture, this is what I think. I think the black hole is the other side of you. It's like, it's through the black hole, coming all the way through the black hole, you are going to meet yourself. So it's my theory that Robert Monroe actually touched himself. His own self in the black hole. When he reaches his hand in, he touched himself, reaches back and touches him. And maybe the other story about he hears someone calling Bob. Maybe that's someone in the black hole, his other reality, his other self, calling to him, trying to wake him up. He is over here dreaming he is Robert Monroe, and through the black hole on the other side is another guy dreaming he is Robert Monroe. And through the black hole they can actually touch each other. So there's so much we don't know about the next realm. It's like after we die, like being an infant again, we're gonna just like learning how to walk and how to eat and how to speak. We're going to have a grand time learning about the next dimension, and out-of-body experience is kind of a preempt effort to try to go there and try to do some research. The best thing about this book, there's so many other amazing stories, but the best thing about the out-of-body experience and the subject and reading this book is I got it helped me to be really peaceful in the here and now. It's like, oh, I had a fear of death that really went away because I don't know what death is. And I'm afraid of the unknown, fear of death, fear I can't come back. But now I kind of know that I'm not going to lose my identity. I'm still going to be me. I'm still going to move on and learn more about myself and continue to be dealing with the qualities in me, the emotions and the thinking that I don't want, and become more of the person that I want to be. And what kind of person I want to be is totally up to me. There's not a God there telling me I have to be like this. I have to be a good person. I have to be a person who is moral or anything like that. I'm just going to set my own standards and make myself the person I want to be. And in this life, I'm doing this right now, and then it's after I shed this body, I'm going to go into the next realm. It's a prolonged, I don't come back to this reality anymore. Or I come back, there's other books I'm going to tell you that tells you how you can come back and all that. This is and other books reviews, I'm going to talk about reincarnation. But you can also not come back and stay in the realm, any realm you want, because the realms are going to be created by your thoughts, by who you are. You're going to basically live in the realm that you are thinking you are, and those thoughts create the reality you see, and this process is going to continue. We don't know, nobody knows where this process is leading, but your journey is an open-ended one. At least right now, this is what I gathered, is that it's not going to just end when you die. It's going to continue. And already I can see this reality so much better, because everything that is in my reality right now is basically, if I don't know it, I now have a knowing that it's because I thought it up. I think about it and I apply myself, my body, to my thinking, because what I think, what my thoughts becomes my action, and my action becomes my deed, and my deed becomes my reality. And it's just kind of all here. Who shows up in my reality, the kind of things that's happening to me, it's all magical. I don't know how it works. Maybe that's God, but God, it's just so beyond me. I don't even have to pray to him or her or it, because it's taking care of me. It's functioning. This whole system is working. And based on many of my own research and out-of-body experience in particular, it's just going to be like this, more of this after I die, I'm going to continue to learn and become the person I want to be, more and more the person I want to be, a bigger and bigger person. And it makes spirituality so actual and so real and so simple. It takes away the foo-foo-ness, the mystery. There's a real sense to it. Spirituality is real. Becoming a bigger person, I want to become a bigger person, because in the next realm, I'm going to encounter bigger people, better people, because I'm bigger and better, and that's something to strive for. I highly recommend this book, and I would love to hear from you what you think after you read this book and your experience and discussions and so on. I have regular discussion groups because I really like to meet people who also researcher pathfinder in this new realm of understanding and existence. I have a school called Parallel University. The website is parallel.university, and subscribe here, and I hope you like it. And most of all, most please write me your comments. I really love it and appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now, and more to come.